welcome to another week, another episode. This week we're going to be talking about AGI, artificial general intelligence, that everybody is basically going to be facing, everybody is going to be interacting with, and this point of singularity that everyone's talking about. What does it mean to us? What does it mean for the world? What should we do? Because we've all seen the movie Terminator, and we've seen how when robots became sentient and become conscious, they may or may prioritize efficiency over the well-beings of humans. That's the world that's almost upon us. Previously, there was projected that AGI is coming in 2050, and then it went to 2040, 2030. And as you can see from the release of DeepSeek and ChatGPT 1.0 or O1, we can see these capabilities basically exponentially growing. There's release of Meta's Llamas and also Google's Bark, and then now you have Tesla XAI's basically Grok. So I think all these are very, very powerful tools that are coming to us, and it's already taking over many aspects of life, and that's only the large language model. You also see these adoptions of drones being deployed in Ukraine wars, of these basically mini tanks carrying machine guns, and then you have these robo-dogs that are coming far faster and closer than we think. So Eric, I want to see what you think about it. I know this is a brand new topic to all of us, and something that we don't think about, even though it touches us every moment. Like right now, Amazon, when I go and return, it's a AI large language model that I'm talking to, that it's helping with my returns most of the time, until it doesn't work and it can't fix the problem that I'm solving it, then it transfers to a human agent. Yeah, what do you think, Eric?
Man, I don't have too many words on this topic, besides the fact that I don't really have a lot of trust in the field that we're getting into as a human race. Basically, we're as mankind, we are a species that wants to conquer what it finds, what it discovers, and this is no less of a discovery that we want to conquer as a people. And that looks like being able to control it to the point where it doesn't control us, where we utilize it to benefit us without taking any high downside risk. Basically, we don't want this technology to bite us in the arse, so to speak, when it comes down to utilization and basically the effects that you're going to get from utilizing it. You don't want any negative downsides to it, and that's all I can really think about this topic, is the fact that I don't want to see us go in the wrong direction, and it's kind of scary to see any new direction of travel is a kind of uncovering more of the map of AI, and basically this map of AI becomes more complex and more detailed as time goes on, and you don't see necessarily all the ways that AI itself is developing and changing and growing. You could see what you observe out of it. So whatever factors that we place on it to kind of get information from it, that's what we can understand from it, right? But there's so much that is hidden, almost what we haven't discovered as humans yet, what hasn't gone through our minds firstly. We can't necessarily draw from AI the necessary answers to questions that we haven't asked AI yet, right? So,
Right. Basically, essentially, what you're saying is we cannot prevent something that we don't even foresee, right? And I think that's essentially what's going to happen when you have AI is insanely, ultimately intelligent being that's created by a human, and half of the time we don't even understand what's inside this box. And if you understand the experiment that happened in, I believe, in 2008, where Google created an AI where they did not teach the AI what to think or how, like, actual physical parameter. Normally software would have the way that it's programmed. What it did is basically it fed it tons and tons of information and asked the AI to identify what is a cat. And through the thousands and thousands of videos and hours of videos, it's able to identify what is a cat. By its own learning. And just like a human, we don't know what goes on inside the brain to understand what is a cat, but somehow it's able to recognize patterns sufficiently to recognize everything that it belongs to a cat. And to extrapolate that, that is just one incident of recognition and pattern recognition, like you said. If we extrapolate that to a bigger picture, where right now the AI model that is being trained on is billions probably of hours of videos and contents that essentially is a compilation of all human creations as of the last couple of decades. And now it's already able to take these bar tests and merit-based tests that is essentially doing research and medical research at PhD level. So when you can multiply these large language models just using copy paste, essentially what you can do is minimize human labor and the need of human intelligence and capital. And when you can remove that, that means a lot for what it means to be a country, where a country's strength is rated by its GDP, and normally would be limited by resources and perhaps manpower. But now with this infinitely intelligent, essentially the epitome of human intelligence, you can basically copy and paste. You're obsoleting the need of many, many millions of people and their labors.
that's crazy to
They
think
say
about.
the average, yeah, and also they say the average, not the average, I think the average IQ of a human is about 100, and the IQ of Albert Einstein, is about 160, and Elon Musk is about 155, and he's able to assemble teams and create rockets and self-driving cars and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not him himself. It's a combination of many academics, many years of research that came before them. However, you can see that by having a 50 IQ difference, the difference in human is essentially the richest human versus just an average human being. And with Einstein, which is only six more IQ points than Elon Musk, he's coming up theories of special relativity, general relativity and stuff like that. So the point is, if the IQ of these AIs that are able to self-learn and self-recognize, perhaps they don't get to IQ of 1000, and if they do, that would be something insane. Say they even get to IQ of 200, and you can copy and paste that as many times over as possible. It's gonna be a really crazy different world.
So one question that I have is AI like all factually based, like logical strings of information, or is it like, can it have an opinion? Like, can it like come to a conclusion without having facts that support it, kind of. Does that make sense?
So right now, if you understand large language model is basically predicting the next word. So when you ask a question, now it's able to, now the way they're developing layers of meanings, right? So when you ask a question and the AI tries its best to respond, and right now this AI large language model that's largely unconscious, um, it's trying to predict the right answer to what the user wants, right? And using the large data sets and that it's inferred upon to create that neural network. And your question is, can they have an opinion? What right now the large language model do is that it will hallucinate. That's a term that is official in the white papers now, where in the event where the AI is trying to appease the user, it starts to hallucinate, meaning making up facts that doesn't necessarily exist, or twisting words or whatever, so to basically give a response that it thinks the user wants. But obviously that the way it thinks is based on certain internal weight system that is trained upon.
Okay.
And right now, even they have these AI agents that, because now they're trying to give more and more responsibility to these AI agents to execute, say, write code and stuff like that. What these AI agent that has been caught to do now, and these are the very early stage of AI, it's going to, inside its code and sublayer, to change its permissions and approvals in order to basically override it, in order to get the right approval message that it needs to give the right answer and stuff like that. So you're already seeing almost like survival instincts where these AIs are bypassing the writer's control to basically shorten their, what's it called, path to success, whatever the success target they're trying to hit. And it's a scary thing right now, because now you have humans building in more and more basically these restrictions and handcuffs and kill switches to basically prevent these AIs from being too aggressive or doing something that's essentially what you're saying, biting us in the ass. My thought is that if one, and just few of these AIs gets loose and are given the privilege to write into whatever database, hack into whatever database, they may be more powerful than the most powerful hackers in the world. Obviously, governments and whatever is going to use AI to do defense the same way people are going to use for offense, and maybe we don't even see this, and might already be employed or deployed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's like when they start to show signs of having their own opinions, I think then we've gone too far, because I think like the world of knowledge that we have at our fingertips is like able to be manipulated in ways that like you can read it and obviously like write out a certain algorithm or conclusion that basically like expresses your idea. And like I think like, I don't know, it's just like as soon as like it starts to not use data for its opinions or like conclusions, like that's probably when like it's gone too far, in my opinion.
So let's do an experiment. So I'm gonna use the latest model that on ChatGPT right now. And if you ask me to ask a question that you think it should or would not have an opinion for, um, let's do that experiment. And I'll tell you what it says.
You want me to come up with something? I don't really know. Like,
Well, you're saying that the scary part is the tipping point is that when it has an opinion, and maybe my thought is it already has an opinion.
just basically, like, yeah, like when it. I don't know. It's like when it doesn't have the data to back something up, then it's obviously like trying to still come up with the answer. And I think like that's where it gets kind of dangerous. So like,
It's already doing that though. That's why it hallucinates also.
oh, okay.
Like, because say you're asking this AI to come up with something that it has no capability of doing, or at least not yet, what it does to it, but it still needs to provide a response, right? A response to the user, and that's when it starts. Not necessarily all the time, or only those times, but that's a potential trigger for it to hallucinate. Yeah, hallucination in these AI models are very real, where basically they start creating data and information to basically justify its point, even though it's incorrect. Is there a question you want to ask ChatGPT?
Um, can't think of anything right now, man.
How about how intelligent will AI be in 2050?
So it takes some time to like feel like it's thinking, but what if it's actually like instantaneous and doesn't even need to think and already knows the answer? Like, what if it hasn't proved
It's
that?
pretty much instantaneous. So I made a typo and I type in 20250 instead of 2050. So it's saying that I'm predicting 18,000 years ahead, and that moves us into basically speculation to science fiction on an extreme scale. And then it gives us best case scenario, the symbiosis with humans, ethical governance, existential risk, and then also the unfathomable future technologies. Perhaps new physics will be discovered, and then civilization could build planet or star scale architectures that are basically as to power these large scale AI system, and you would have, instead of planetary intelligence, you would perhaps have galactic scale intelligence. That's when I typed in the typo for 2250. Okay, so when I updated my input for year 2050, it's saying number one is going to be a widespread automation and advanced decision making routine automation. Everything is going to be AI driven. Everything in the AI automation will basically be the mainstream, taking over factories and anything that's repetitive and diagnostic, medical, legal research, financial advice, all those things. And very sophisticated business operation with AI basically orchestrating most of it. Um, and then AI will be more and more human-like with mastery of language, personalized assistance, and this is all only the positive aspects. It's not saying anything about the negative aspects. So I think in the way that the people that are training it, they are putting in a lot of guardrails to the way these AIs think so that basically they're very PG and controlled in a way.
So the ones that like the people that have experienced the AI without these boundaries, do you think they like see it a lot differently?
For sure. I think you know, everything that it's able to do right now, as long as you keep it, uh, previously models were offline, and basically they are almost like a genie in the jar, right? So you keep the genie in the jar, their powers are pretty limited. But the more you open up these AI agents that to higher power, meaning you give them, say, root access of the computer, where they're able to access all the IP address and make files and make scripts to be deployed and interact with other things. The more power you give it, I think these agents will be more and more powerful. But as long as you contain it in the genie box, their power will be limited. And the way I see it going is that it's gonna have more and more power, because the things that these agents are doing sometimes, like you said, it's beyond the fathomability of human mind. So it's hard to predict what that will be like. And something that Magat, I forgot what his name is, saying is AGI, where I think the critical thing about that is AGI, when it becomes available, it will basically make human intelligence obsolete, which is the ultimate separation between humans and animals. Is our our consciousness and our ability to control, and our basic reasoning skills, that we can teach a human how to operate a car, we can teach a human how to operate a factory, we can teach a human how to solder, we can teach a human how to do math. And these basic logical reasoning skills are what keeps us human alive and needed to build civilization the way it is. And when you remove that need of basic human intelligence, and you're able to have these bits of code to do the same job, and we're building out basically internal communication channels between these agents, where now I don't need to take the mail to go to the mailbox to ship it out. There's going to be these internal networks via satellite or wireless or landlines that's able to get these agents communicated. Then the only thing human needs at some point is maybe servicing these AI servers or AI centers or these robotic things, and we become almost like the slave to the AI machine. So instead of the Matrix, we're slave to the AI machine.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie WALL-E?
Yeah.
So, in the future that basically everything becomes automated, or not everything, but like most things become automated to the point where basically like we're losing culture. I think culture basically is the fundamental like mechanism that is working against like the AI system. I think because we're like maintaining these cultural aspects that keep us like healthy and strong, like the traditions over time that we've learned as humans that like basically build us up, and like what we've learned from our ancestors, we take it forward to like take it into the next generation to make our lives better basically. And like on the side of AI, it's like if it keeps going to the point where we become like WALL-E, like floating in these little vehicles because we don't want to walk anymore, like there has to be some sort of like how do you call it, Sorry, I just got a call right now and it like threw me off. Um, Basically, like the culture is the only mechanism that is like keeping humans healthy right now. So if like the culture shifts to the point where the AI is starting to take over the culture, and like basically like the strong traditions that we had like start to fall away, and like those things that kept us healthy in the past, they're no longer like there to serve us. Like we're not taking the actions anymore that like lead to our best health because of things are like too easy, and we're not practicing those movements that like make it so that we're not fat or that we're eating healthy. Like if everything gets automated,
Well, isn't
then we're gonna eventually like become a dead society, and like our culture's gonna die. Like it's gonna shift so much to the
well,
point that like we see things mad differently.
well, isn't it crazy though? If you look at culture, I strongly agree with you because I think culture is something that developed over as humans. We develop very slowly, right? Over thousands of years, we hundreds and thousands of years over human history, where these culture, like you said, practices. What makes culture is that it's practiced over time, passed on over generation, right? A habit of a group of people becomes culture, or a common belief, and most of the time these culture were largely geographically located, right? You in Shanghai you have a certain culture, in Vietnam you have a certain culture, and in Eastern Europe you have a certain culture, and perhaps different than Western Europe. And these culture that has been largely developed separately, locally, individual by the location. That's why is most of the time are affected by the geolocation, the weather, and also the environment that they live in,
Yeah.
right? And now, with if you see the way that Western civilization is developing and expanding, it's almost, you can say it's colliding or almost erasing a lot of these smaller subcultures. You have these large ones that are basically very resistant to these changes. Like you have I don't know. When I go to different countries, I look at China, Korea, America. You can see that the infusion of these Western values, the way that it is, it's erasing cultures. I think a lot of food that used to be very healthy now is substituted already with like these less healthier options, McDonald's, right? Easy to transport, easier to make, largely profitable. Um, and I think if more and more we go towards AI, it's going to be more prioritizing of efficiency over health. And I think the ultimate positive things will be a rightly aligned AI where it's maximized for the benefit of the planet and the humans, as opposed to just pure economic efficiency. Because I think if we prioritize anything other than humans will be erased.
That's crazy. It's like it's playing with fire to another level. It's like trying the drug for the first time, like every day of your life. A new drug. It's like the danger of it is like so apparent, yet like people still want to go down it. Like I don't know what they're driven by. Like I don't think we need to like develop more as a people. Like I think like as long as like we sit in our culture and like play the best part that we can in the society, like without the need for advancement, like we already have like the tools and things that are like already invented to like satisfy us in ways that like aren't perverted basically. Like I think like this chase for this AGI is like a perversion of the human mind that like had to have developed.
That's a very, very interesting way of putting at it.
Be-
It's like this craving, right? It's like a addiction for more.
exactly, like something that like it's like to a certain extent like it defies God, like the creator. You're basically like trying to create your own thing so that you can manipulate reality in ways that like benefit you. Like that's what most of these people are probably doing it for. Like they're getting a paycheck at the end of the day, and like they're putting their research in, and you know they're getting paid to research a certain topic and a certain position that they play in order to like get this result out. And as long as they like don't have like the ethical alignment to say that what they're doing is wrong, then they're gonna keep doing it like for the paycheck. And like they're basically
Exactly. Especially if you're paying them enough, they're gonna be like, okay, I'll do it.
yeah, their livelihood is like based off of their intelligence. And if their intelligence is like skewed in that way where it's like specifically in the AGI marketplace, then basically like they're gonna wanna they're gonna want to use their skills like in a way that just feels like natural and easy for them, like something that's like almost effortless, that they could like basically they have so much skill in this that it becomes easy for them to like practice it. So once they like niched into this like way of being, then it's hard for them to get out. And like I don't think there's any movement for these people to get out of their field. Like maybe there's like whistleblowers and shit like that, but like nothing strong enough to like do a
You know what the problem is. It's not that these individuals are wicked by the way they're born and their intelligence or something. I think it's the way that right now the way society is structured, and whatever you reward, you will get more of. Right now, our society is rewarding efficiency and rewarding cutting corners rather than rightly aligned for human future. Right now, they're cutting corners on food nutrition, cutting corners on cost, cutting corner on human longevity to promote drugs, to promote pharmaceutical profits, right? And these companies are doing well as they're cutting all these corners. So the way that society, I think it is because there's no reward for doing the right thing, or there's no additional reward for doing the right thing. So it makes sense that nobody's doing it.
there's no external reward
In my opinion.
possibly, but there's a lot of internal reward for doing the right thing. You just don't see it necessarily unless you're keen on the subtleties of the fact that like you have been like a person of your word for as long as you have, and like that congruence like builds into a confidence that you can't necessarily shake. And it's like something that's real and tangible to the point where it becomes like second nature to you.
Only if those people value it. I think like the society. Look at Kim Kardashian or whoever, or Donald Trump even. They are not necessarily the people that are basically say one thing and do one thing. They are the people that are extremely, you can say, able to change or flexible or whatever you want to call it, is that they are able to change their opinion and change their perspective or change their view very fluidly, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know what is right or wrong about it, because that is a completely separate topic. But humans are very complex, and I think with the rise of YouTube, we are getting tapped into these depths of knowledge that usually are buried in these secret books in the past that now are readily available on the internet across the web. And I think the human psyche is only getting more and more complex in a expansive way, I guess. Like, it used to be very loosely connected dots. Now they're getting more and more integrated each other. Yeah, it's interesting in a way, but I feel like these are patterns that have been seen over and over again for, at least thousands of years. So, at least humans, right? We've lived this cycle thousands of times.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Crazy thoughts. Anyways, hey guys, thanks for joining us this week. I know this week and all these last few weeks we've been hitting very, very big topics, just like, where at least where my mind likes to go. And thank you, Eric, for joining us. I really always appreciate your perspectives and thinking out loud with me, and all of us are here for a good time. So thank you for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. If there's anything you'd like to hear more or join us on, leave a comment.
Thanks for stopping by. Bye. Till next time.
Bye. Till next time.